The Kargil War was fought in the most inhospitable of terrains. Imagine towering peaks reaching for the sky. These are the Himalayas, home to some of the highest mountains in the world. Kargil, a district in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir, became the battleground. The region is characterized by its rugged, mountainous terrain. The peaks rise thousands of feet, their slopes steep and unforgiving. Glaciers cut through the mountains, leaving behind icy rivers and treacherous crevasses. The air is thin at these altitudes, making movement difficult and demanding immense physical endurance. Temperatures plummet far below freezing during the winter months. The summers offer little respite, with harsh sunlight reflecting off the snow and ice. The soldiers who fought in Kargil faced not only a determined enemy, but also the unforgiving wrath of nature itself. This challenging terrain played a crucial role in shaping the dynamics of the conflict. It provided natural defenses to the intruders who occupied strategically important peaks. These high positions gave them a tactical advantage, overlooking Indian positions and supply lines. The Kargil War did not erupt in isolation. It was the culmination of decades of mistrust and hostility between India and Pakistan. The two nations have been locked in a bitter dispute over the Kashmir region since their independence in 1947. The Siachen conflict, a long-standing military standoff over the Siachen Glacier, further fueled tensions. Both countries maintained a significant military presence in the region, engaging in sporadic clashes and claiming sovereignty over the icy wasteland. The nuclear tests conducted by both India and Pakistan in 1998 added another layer of complexity to the relationship. The tests heightened international concerns about a potential nuclear conflict in South Asia, casting a long shadow over the region. Against this backdrop of simmering tension, Pakistan embarked on a clandestine operation to infiltrate the Kargil sector. The plan was to exploit the harsh winter months, when heavy snowfall and extreme weather conditions traditionally led to a thinning of Indian troop deployments at higher altitudes. Pakistan's intrusion into Kargil was a carefully planned operation. It involved elements of the Pakistani army disguised as Kashmiri militants infiltrating across the line of control. Their objective was to occupy strategically important peaks along the line of control. By securing these positions, Pakistan aimed to sever the vital Srinagar-Leh highway. This highway served as a crucial lifeline for Indian troops stationed in Ladakh. Its closure would hamper India's ability to supply its forces and potentially force a withdrawal from the Siachen Glacier. The operation was also intended to internationalize the Kashmir issue. By provoking a military confrontation, Pakistan hoped to draw global attention to the dispute and garner support for its stance. The intrusion was a high-stakes gamble, a calculated risk taken by Pakistan to alter the status quo in Kashmir. The success of the operation depended on maintaining the element of surprise and exploiting India's perceived vulnerabilities. The initial Indian response to the infiltration was cautious. There was a belief that the intruders were small groups of militants. However, as skirmishes escalated and the scale of the intrusion became apparent, India realized it was facing a much larger challenge. Patrols were intensified and reinforcements were rushed to the Kargil sector. The Indian army, caught off guard by the audacity and scale of the intrusion, now faced the daunting task of evicting entrenched enemy soldiers from heavily fortified positions. The conflict presented a unique set of challenges for the Indian armed forces. The high altitude, treacherous terrain, and the well-prepared defenses of the intruders demanded a coordinated and determined response. The Indian government, initially hesitant to escalate the conflict, now faced mounting pressure to act decisively and protect its territorial integrity. The Kargil intrusion had transformed from a localized incursion into a full-blown military confrontation. Section 5, Operation Vijay, India's determined response to reclaim Kargil. Operation Vijay, meaning victory, was the name given to India's military operation to evict the Pakistani intruders from Kargil. Launched in May 1999, it involved a coordinated effort by the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. The operation's primary objective was to reclaim all Indian territory occupied by Pakistani forces. This involved a multi-pronged strategy, combining ground assaults with air power, to dislodge the enemy from their fortified positions. The Indian Army, adapting its tactics to the unique challenges of high-altitude warfare, launched a series of offensives to capture key peaks and ridges. The soldiers, displaying immense courage and resilience, fought valiantly against a determined enemy. Operation Vijay was not just a military campaign, it was a test of India's resolve. The nation rallied behind its armed forces, with citizens from all walks of life offering their unwavering support. Section 6. Battles on the peaks. Key engagements and strategic objectives. The Kargil War witnessed several fierce battles fought over strategically important peaks and ridges. Each engagement was a testament to the valor and sacrifice of the Indian soldiers who fought with unwavering determination. The Battle of Tololing was among the first major confrontations. Indian forces launched a daring assault to recapture the strategic peak, which overlooked the Srinagar-Leh highway. The battle raged for days, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Tiger Hill, another prominent peak, became synonymous with the Kargil War. The recapture of Tiger Hill by Indian forces was a turning point in the conflict, signifying a shift in momentum. The battle involved fierce hand-to-hand combat and demonstrated the indomitable spirit of the Indian soldier. The battles for .4875, .5140, and the Mushko Valley were equally intense and strategically significant. Each victory brought India closer to achieving its objective of clearing the Kargil sector of Pakistani intruders. Section 7. Operation Safe Sagar. The Indian Air Force takes to the skies. Operation Safe Sagar marked the Indian Air Force's entry into the Kargil War. This operation, launched in late May 1999, aimed to provide air support to ground troops and target enemy supply lines. The IAF deployed a range of aircraft, including fighter jets, attack helicopters, and transport planes in challenging high-altitude conditions. The pilots, operating in thin air and facing the constant threat of anti-aircraft fire, displayed remarkable skill and courage. Precision airstrikes were carried out on enemy positions, ammunition dumps, and logistical hubs. The IAF's involvement proved crucial in disrupting enemy operations and tilting the balance in India's favor. The use of air power in Kargil was carefully calibrated to avoid escalation and respect the sanctity of the LOC. The IAF's role in Operation Safe Sagar highlighted the importance of air superiority in modern warfare. Section 8. Global Pressure Mounts International Response and Diplomatic Maneuvering. As the Kargil War intensified, the international community grew increasingly concerned about the potential for a wider conflict between India and Pakistan. Diplomatic efforts were initiated to defuse the situation and prevent further escalation. The United States, under President Bill Clinton, played a significant role in urging Pakistan to withdraw its forces from the Indian side of the LOC. The international community largely supported India's stance, recognizing Pakistan as the aggressor in the conflict. India's diplomatic efforts focused on highlighting Pakistan's violation of the LOC and its support for the intrusion. The Kargil conflict showcased India's diplomatic maturity and its ability to garner international support for its position. The global pressure on Pakistan mounted as the conflict progressed, with several countries expressing their disapproval of Pakistan's actions. This diplomatic isolation further weakened Pakistan's position and contributed to its eventual withdrawal. Section 9. Legacy of Kargil Victory, Sacrifice and Lessons for the Future. The Kargil War concluded with India's victory and the restoration of the status quo ante along the LOC. However, the victory came at a heavy price, with hundreds of Indian soldiers making the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. The war served as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the sacrifices made by those who defend their nation's borders. It also highlighted the importance of vigilance and preparedness in the face of evolving security challenges. The Kargil experience led to a reassessment of India's defense posture and the implementation of several military reforms. These reforms aim to enhance the Indian Armed Forces' capabilities for high-altitude warfare and improve coordination between different branches of the military. The Kargil War left an enduring legacy on India's national consciousness, fostering a sense of unity and patriotism. It served as a reminder of the nation's resolve to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity.